and then Instagram. All right. So I'm gonna just join on. The event will
It still says the event will start soon. Wait for the host to start for LinkedIn.
it says happening now. All right.
Yeah.
There we are. We're on LinkedIn. Good
All
stuff.
right.
All right. What's up, everybody? Hope all is well. This is Jared Albertin, host of Big Tech Energy Podcast. I'm joined by the co-founder of Black Women Talk Tech, Regina Gwynn. And on today's conversation, we're going to be discussing the series of events that are happening potentially in your city. If not in your city, then it's happening online tomorrow, where people will have the opportunity to pitch their brands and their ideas and just the ideas. They don't need to have a startup, to executives at Diageo and other partners. But I'm not going to steal Regina's thunder. I'm going to give her the mic to introduce herself as I confirm everything is streaming where it needs to. So, Regina, I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Jared. And thanks so much for putting this together and helping us amplify the stories of women entrepreneurs. We are so excited to kick off this new year with new energy, new vibe, and created a event series called Ideas on Tap, which is a pitch practice social. It's a 4-city tour powered by Diageo with a virtual component coming up tomorrow evening, where you just get to focus on the idea and focus on the pitch. When you think about a pitch competition, it can be very stressful and it's high pressure, high risk. Everyone's staring at you and it's all these bright lights and it's crazy. And so we wanted to say, okay, why can't we just get in a room and get some open, honest feedback in a safe space? Because oftentimes you need that in order to get to those, large pitch competition stages and feel comfortable getting in front of people, sharing your ideas quickly and succinctly, and getting that feedback from a panel of experts. So that's what we're doing. It's on the spot. It's not being recorded. We want you to you don't even have to have a startup. We literally just want you to come out and share your ideas so you can get that feedback, so that you can iterate on those ideas and ultimately, craft that next gen startup. So we will be hosting our online event with yours truly, and with our awesome host here, hosting our online component tomorrow. We'll be in Washington, D.C. on February 1st. So next Thursday, kicking off Black History Month with our HBCU edition. So gotta give love to the 107 HBCUs across the country. We'll be in Houston February 8th and wrapping up the tour in Chicago on February 20th. So much more to come. This is kind of the pregame to our 8th annual Roadmap to Billions conference. That's our big juggernaut event. So we have some time before that, but this is kind of the preamble. It's the warm up to the big shebang later on this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for those that were, to be very clear, this is a free event, 21 and up, but it's a free event. So everybody make sure you go to the link in Black Women Talk Tech's Instagram bio or LinkedIn page or wherever you're finding this, and make sure you sign up for when it's in your city. And if it's not in your city, then we'll be able to do it online tomorrow. So before we get into the online event that's going to happen tomorrow that I'm really excited about, can you tell people a little bit about Roadmap to Billions and what was last year like and what's this year going to be like and what can people expect from it? Because that's going to be like the Super Bowl of the Black Women Talk Tech event. So that's the one that you want to make sure you're at.
Oh, definitely. You've got to be in the building. It's May 16, 17, and 18. It's at Brooklyn Navy Yard in Brooklyn, New York. It is a next level experience. We've been building Roadmap to Billions for going on 7 years. So this is our 8th annual event. So we've started to learn a little bit about what are some of the types of conversations, the types of experiences that our community is looking for. And so we also come at it from a perspective of understanding it personally. We are founders. My partner, Asosa, and I launched our own startups way back when. So we intimately understand the challenges that face women as it relates to finding the right technical talent, thinking through your venture capital strategy. Should you have a venture capital strategy? What should your fundraising approach be? What's the social capital? How do you get tapped on the shoulder for those private conversations at South by Southwest? And how do you get into those private rooms and make those types of deals happen? We saw that they weren't happening for us, and so we wanted to create those types of opportunities for more women who look like us. And so last year, Roadmap to Billions was electric. We had amazing speakers, awesome keynotes. We had Felicia Hatcher, the CEO of Black Ambition Prize, kick us off with a phenomenal, inspirational opening keynote. We had Beatrice Dixon from Honey Pot, who most recently had an amazing $380 million acquisition of her company. She was on our stage last year. We also had phenomenal unicorn founders, women who are running billion-dollar and multi-million-dollar startups. And so we want to make sure that we do it again and make it bigger and make it better. This year, we'll be talking about cybersecurity. Think like a criminal, like cybersecurity hits more than just, big banks and big companies. It can definitely affect small businesses and early stage startups. We'll be talking about partnerships and what are brands looking for when developing partnerships in terms of, identifying revenue opportunities. We'll be talking about supplier diversity. There'll be a pitch competition. We're reimagining our beauty lounge and our beauty spaces. So, and then of course we can't forget the pitch competition. We always gotta celebrate and give a humongous platform to our founders. So there'll definitely be a pitch competition, and we'll wrap up with some private investor reception. So that is just a little scratch. That's just a little taste of what's to come. But we are hard at work putting together the conference even now, and have been putting together the conference actually for quite some time. So definitely be in the building May 16, 17, 18, and come out online tomorrow from 6 to 9 p.m. The Zoom link is you'll receive a Zoom link after registering for this free Pitch Practice Social powered by Diageo.
Yep. And I got a question from Eugene on LinkedIn. Is this event only for women?
Sorry. No, it is not. So let me be clear. We focus on supporting, women entrepreneurs. However, all of our events are definitely co-ed. We encourage both men and women students. We would love to have and see students participate in these pitch competition, in our Pitch Practice Social. There's also networking and recruiting opportunities. Representatives from Diageo will be on hand to share more details about career opportunities with the organization. If you're interested, we'll grab your resume. We're creating a resume book for them. So this is definitely not just for women. And the conference in May, definitely not just for women. That women need a co-founder, right? They may need a CMO, a CTO. They may need a co-founder all together. So these are definitely meant to be resources that kind of allow for all boats to rise, for sure.
Yes, no, I appreciate you for clarifying that. So fellas, come out, support, learn, network, and build with these amazing Black women founders and executives. So when it comes to the event tomorrow, let's talk a little bit about that. What can people expect? And if somebody wants to be a participant, how would they be able to do so, if that's still possible?
Sure. So just to kind of give a run through of tomorrow's event, given that, this is our online version, we want to give an opportunity to kind of showcase a little bit about, Diageo, what they're working on, some of their amazing initiatives, the support that they give to women entrepreneurs, and has allowed for us to have this tour. And then we'll also move into the pitch practice feedback session. So imagine each pitch practice, each contestant, shall we say, participant, let's say, gets 1 minute to pitch, and they get 2 minutes of feedback from the expert panelists. So this allows for us to get through quite a few entrepreneurs. So, there's tons of, I won't say tons, but there's a good 15 to 20, maybe even 25 slots. And those slots are rapidly filling up. We have reached out to some of the initial participants who've signaled an interest. So we are signing them up. So I would definitely recommend, if you're interested in having and participating in the pitch, to register today, immediately, ASAP. In order for us to gather that interest and be able to confirm you for Thursday.
Awesome. McDonald's Predulia, sorry if I messed your name up, asked on LinkedIn, are the executives or is the event open to Web3 ideas?
For sure. So we are looking for any and all ideas that are focused on, building huge businesses. I think that there's a particular interest in food and beverage, hospitality, green tech, clean technology, sustainability, travel, hotels, restaurants, consumer tech, products that can allow for, huge market opportunity. And so if there are experiences that can be built in Web3, there's, I think, a great opportunity to showcase that and to get that in front of an audience and get some feedback on it. So for sure, Web3 is definitely super strong, continues to trend, and I think that we'll continue to see more Web3 ideas in the future.
Okay, perfect. And so when it comes to the participants, what are some of the things that may be an outcome for them? I know there's going to be a distinction at the end of the competition. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So again, to try to avoid feeling like a pitch competition, we decided to create a People's Choice Award. So the audience will give feedback on whom they think the best pitch was for the night. And so the People's Choice winner will receive a 2-hour mentor session with our Diageo executives, and they'll also receive a custom cocktail book courtesy of Diageo. And then for next week, actually, I'll put a quick plug in for our Washington, D.C. event. This is our HBCU edition. So calling all HBCU alums, HBCU students, if you know of anyone in the DC area. And listen, if you went to a non-HBCU, please come out. Like, I'm not, we're not sitting here saying like, don't come. We're just, wanting to highlight and celebrate HBCUs. Diageo supports the endowments of over 28 HBCUs across the country. And so there's just a great support and interest there. But the winner of the People's Choice Award in DC will also get an opportunity to be fast-tracked into the Student Startup Showcase at the Emerge Americas Conference in Miami, Florida. And so this is a really big deal because they receive thousands and thousands of applications for less than 100 slots for their startup showcase. And so being able to be a partner with Emerge to get our applicants or our entrepreneurs fast-tracked into their program is a really big deal. So for those that are in the DC area, we'd love to have you come out, and we're looking forward to that People's Choice Award winner to potentially head to Florida.
Nice. And I know you have some other partners on some other legs of the tour.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what they're going to add to the mix in different cities?
Absolutely. So for our online, our amazing community partners are Big Tech Energy Podcast. Got to give a shout out to Jared. We also have Trabaja, which is a diversity recruiting platform based in Philadelphia. For Washington, D.C., next week, we have HBCU Buzz and Venture for Them. Those are two amazing HBCU orgs, as well as DC Startup Week is a community partner. In Houston, we're working through or finalizing a collaboration with Forbes Black and Blacks in Tech, along with the Texas Black Expo and the Texas Black Founders Network. So those are some partners we have in Houston. And then lastly, in Chicago, we're so excited to have Dr. Kamika Smith, the founder of the Boss Network. She will be our special guest. So we'll have Boss Network as a partner, along with World Business Chicago and Venture Well and Hire Black. So there's, a little bit of a mixture of different kinds of partners for each city, all focused on, supporting entrepreneurs of color, supporting innovation, and supporting getting the bag. The 2024 is about the bag, the end, full stop. Like we're not playing games. It is about power. It is about showing that we ain't going nowhere. Black women were under attack heavily last year, from Fearless Fun Foolishness to Hello Alice to the president of Harvard, just repeated, vicious, ridiculous, uncalled for, unsolicited attacks. And so, we are here to make a strong statement out the gate, that we are focused on the bag. We are focused on advancing our communities and building generational wealth for our families. So that starts with the idea, and it starts with the pitch.
Yeah. So when it comes to Black Women Talk Tech, how does that organization foster opportunities, resources, experiences to get to the bag for those that may be just totally new to your organization?
Sure. Well, Black Women Talk Tech, as I mentioned, we started the organization in 2017 out of that personal need. So Asosa and I intimately understand the challenges that face these entrepreneurs, and so there's a huge focus on education. So whether it's better understanding like what is the type of technology that's needed to build your particular product, is there needs to think about the business model, what is the actual widget that you're building, such that with this particular model it creates a $1 billion valued company, and are there $1 trillion markets that you're tapping into that allows you to create this type of unicorn. And then we talk a lot about money. We talk a lot about access to capital. It is always a hot button issue. Clearly, we've seen the decline of founders of color and in their ability to capture venture dollars. It's gone down steadily since George Floyd. So we have to continue to be creative. We have to continue to be scrappy. And so we talk a lot about what those different types of strategies are. And then we also want to make sure that we're just amplifying stories. So, we want to remind you that women are out here doing it now, right? Beatrice is out here, creating a almost $400 million valued business right now. So this is not about the future, and it's not about like what to hope for. This is what to expect right now. So how are we putting ourselves in the right places? How are we preparing our business? How are we reinforcing and defending our businesses such that you're able to create that roadmap to billions? And who are the people that you need? What's the team? What's the staffing structure? How much should you pay them? Who do you hire first, second, third? When you get that first check, what do you do with it? And those are the types of things that we talk about through our social channels, definitely at the conference, and then we also host social conversations throughout the year. So that's a little bit about kind of how we think about supporting the community. Oh, I have to I would be remiss, our newsletter. So we send out a newsletter every Tuesday and Saturday. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, please, please, please sign up for the newsletter. All the gems are dropped. All of the information that you need, from grants to special initiatives that our corporate partners are working on, jobs, more jobs. There's always something going on in these newsletters. So that's definitely a place for us to continue to flow information all year round outside of the conference.
Absolutely. So if you really want to get the bulk of the value, definitely sign up for the newsletter. But more importantly, make sure you're in Brooklyn for Roadmap to Billions. That's where it's going to be the energy, the resources, the conversations that you need to hear. And one conversation that happened last year was Beatrice was on stage talking strategy, and now you see what happens as it comes to fruition with the big acquisition. So can you talk a little bit about that panel last year and some of your favorite panels from last year, where these are actually women that are getting it? This isn't hypothetical, and you're seeing that with the news flash from this month.
Yeah. So, last year we really focused on, billion-dollar ideas, billion-dollar businesses. Beatrice was on a panel with Phaedra Parks and, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name, from Black Enterprise, Selena Hill, and they talked about, like, what does it take? First of all, it is no small feat to be an entrepreneur. Most people are not cut out for it, period. And so, when you're building your businesses and you're building a billion-dollar business, what are some of what's the mindset? What are the sacrifices, right? Like, what are the pros and cons that you have to be prepared for in order to, chart that path towards, hockey stick growth. And so, I found that fireside chat was just really profound because, there's part of it is luck, and being in the right place at the right time. The timing of a business is everything. It is everything. So, just kind of understanding that piece, but also, when we think about the timing, it's about sensing that, right? Like if the entrepreneur is keyed into a market, they know when something is about to pop. They know when, they're seeing this consistent pattern of a lack of in a particular market, and believe that their product can fill that need. So I found that panel was great. We talked about, there's another panel that talked about just like alternative fundraising strategies. So everyone talks about venture's so sexy, venture's this and that. And venture is great. Venture is an amazing financial tool. It does force you, or it puts you in a very specific path to growth, and a very specific path and just the overall trajectory of the business. Either you will exit, you will IPO, or you will, do one or two other. There's like 3 or 4 options there. So when we think about, keeping your business, the equity that you have in your business, all those different things are just considerations that you need to be aware of. So that panel was great. And then we also talked about like intellectual property, how are we protecting our IP and copyrights and patents? So those pieces are always important. And then of course, generative AI, we have to continue to keep our hand on the pulse of what's going on there, and making sure that we are vocal and active in conversations around data collection, creating these large learning models, and making sure that we have a say in how the data is being presented, and how it's being manipulated. So all those things are just, like I said, those were 3 or 4 of like the 15 panels that are happening during the conference. We have 2 different stages. So 2 stages of content are running at the same time. You've got the expo where recruiters and incubators and other companies want to talk to our Roadmap to Billion attendees, and then would love to make sure that you're getting introduced to each other, right? Like people find their business coach at Roadmap to Billions. They find their lawyer. They find their accountant. They get their first check from an angel investor in the audience. These are stories that we hear over and over and over again. So, it's important to be in the building.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to just highlight a question or shoot your shot. I don't know if you saw this in the LinkedIn. Habibah, hopefully I said that correctly. Hello, I'm eager to join the Roadmap to Billions and have been attempting to get in touch with Regina. She's booked and busy, so you caught her right now. Regarding my participation with my YouTube channel, could you please provide me with the necessary information or connect with Regina? I appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Yes, send me a note on LinkedIn. Happy to chat and let me know how I can help.
Yeah, and this is a cool feature. This is my I'll admit this is my first time using StreamYard to stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram at the same time. Looks like it's going off without a hitch, which is great. The recording will be available. I'll throw this on YouTube. But if you have questions, especially on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, feel free to type them in the chat. Even if it's not event related, just advice about being a woman startup founder, being a startup founder in general. We're happy to make this interactive as possible. But while we wait for questions, I would love to hear about New York City, the first event of the tour. What were some of your favorite parts of it, and what did people experience when they were there?
Oh my goodness. So we kicked off our Ideas on Tap Pitch Practice Social last week in New York City, as Jarrett mentioned. We were hosted by 2045 Studio. If you're not familiar with 2045, please visit. I think it's 2045 Studio, I think on LinkedIn somewhere. But it's this amazing penthouse in Flatiron. It's a membership community for diverse professionals run by Porter Braswell, who's a serial entrepreneur, a Black man. So it's an amazing space run by him and his team. And it was packed. I was nervous because it was cold outside, and us in the wintertime. But we packed the house. The Diageo beverages were flowing, I will say. That was a beautiful thing. So, we were able to really, like I said, kind of connect for the first time, first networking opportunity of the year. Executives from Diageo were on hand. They loved it. They loved being able to interact with the entrepreneurs and give feedback for the pitch practice participants. And then we also had Melba Wilson, who is the founder of Melba's Harlem restaurant. So she is a Harlem institution, to be sure. And so she dropped some gems and was able to share some of her experiences in building a business within hospitality, food and beverage. So that was great. And then we just, we hung out and we had good food and good music and good time. So definitely looking forward to recreating, some of that online and then bringing it back in person for Washington, D.C., Houston on February 8th, and Chicago on February 20th.
Yes. Nice. I'm sad I wasn't able to be there, but I was staying warm in Florida, so I guess there's
there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna try to pop out to the Houston one for sure. My parents live in Houston, so
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Would love that.
Yeah. So when it comes to the folks that want to, again, for those that are just joined, if you want to participate in the pitches, whether in your city or online, can you just one more time let them know what that process looks like and what the participants need to be thinking about as they come to present?
Absolutely. So we're looking for ideas in food and beverage, hospitality, travel, sustainability, green tech, manufacturing, supply chain, cool, green paper, green recycled packaging, any and all of those types of ideas. When you register for the event, it'll ask you whether or not you'd like to pitch. So click on yes, and then we'll know on the back end who's interested in pitching. We'll reach out, make sure to confirm all your details, and then we add you to the list. So we've got a very strong list of folks that are interested in pitching tomorrow. If you haven't received an email yet, you will, and then we'll definitely finalize the participants probably sometime this evening, and then someone will be a People's Choice winner, and we'll get to see them. Hopefully at our Roadmap to Billions event. Oh, and I failed to mention the People's Choice winner gets a free ticket to Roadmap to Billions. They get the they get the mentorship session with the Diageo executives, and the custom cocktail book. So there's lots more to come there, and they'll get valuable feedback, which is probably the most important thing.
Awesome. So I'm really excited for this online event. If you haven't signed up, you can go to the link in my Instagram bio to find it. I also posted on LinkedIn a place to sign up. When it comes to Black Women Talk Tech, where are the best places for people to find the link to register?
Yes. So you can go to www.blackwomentalktech.com. Click on programs, and you'll see the entire series listed as the very first program of the year. You can also go to our Instagram, which is still Black Women Talk Tech. Go to our link tree, and you'll find a place to register there. And you can register through LinkedIn. So we have the LinkedIn events set up for each city. So if you register there, then we'll make sure to transfer you over to our larger list, and make sure that your registration is included, and we get you, or we can confirm your participation in the pitch if interested.
Awesome. So we're going to take one last question because I see we hit the 30-minute mark. This conversation has just flown by. Lots of but Kenya asks, how do you gain trust from potential investors as a founder? Once they learn you're a founder with a full-time job and you're not able to work full-time with your startup early on, how do you get over that?
I love this question, Kenya. We get this question all the time. And it's so interesting because we actually conducted a research report a couple of years ago called Face of a Founder. And we discovered that, particularly for women of color and Black women, over 80% of Black women are working full time and building their startup. Just because you're working full time does not mean you are not passionate, committed, and focused on your business. It just means that you have to bootstrap your business with your own money, because we have the other stat that shows that we're not getting venture capital funding. So we have to remind everyone how important it is to see sometimes the inherent bias that exists when we assume that because I'm working on my business full time, that means like something, right? So in terms of gaining trust, I think that the best way that I've seen, founders gain trust is number one, put in the time, right? So, one conversation with an investor is not going to build trust. 2 and 3 conversations aren't going to build trust with an investor. But what I think investors are looking for is the storyline, right? So you're telling them, I'm going to go out and do this thing. And the next time you talk to them, you should say, I've done it. And then I'm going to go do this thing. And the next time you've talked to them, you say, I've done it. So there has to be forward movement. There has to be traction, what's considered traction for early stage founders. And that traction could mean lots of different things. It doesn't mean revenue. When you are an early stage founder and you're building some sort of deep tech, you don't have revenue yet. So we have to think about what they want to see is focus, executional excellence. Okay. Like they need to see that you're an operator, that you can actually move the needle on the business. You've got this big idea, and of course there's a big idea, right? So like the entrepreneur is the visionary. They're the ones creating something that has not been created before. If it had been created before, it'd be a franchise, right? So we are creating something that's never been created before, and we're building this thing from scratch. And that takes time, and there's going to be missteps, and you're going to think you have, this piece of data, and then another insight's going to come up and tell you something completely different. and you're going to blow through money, unfortunately. And so you want to use the least amount of money as possible, but you're still there's going to be times where, you lose money. So how to to build trust is to be transparent, and say, hey, look, I said I was going to do this thing and I did it, and this is what happened. Right. So what you did it. So that's the first part. But it could also turn around and say you did it and something unexpected happened, or what you thought was going to happen didn't happen. And so you have to tell them the whole story. And that's hard to do when you're working full time. Like I'm also not going to sugarcoat that. I was working full time. I was going in the stock room. I was working in the fashion industry. So I was like behind the mannequins, talking to clients and talking to people, and taking really long lunch breaks, and just all the things to make it happen. But I think over time, when the investor A likes the idea and B likes the person, then there's that openness to want to learn more and want to develop a relationship.
Man, she just dropped some gems on y'all. That's some really, really great advice. And Kenya, thank you for the really great question. You probably
Thank
helped
you.
a lot of people on this stream. And yeah, if you're on LinkedIn, we're going to be doing these on a regular basis to promote the different cities. We'll probably bring in some special guests, maybe add some topics. We'll see. But the goal really is just to make sure that people understand that this opportunity and this resource and this ability to learn from some amazing entrepreneurs, as well as get the opportunity to shoot your shot to Diageo, or you never know who's going to be online or in this city listening to your pitch, and that may want to give you a check. They may want to be a technical co-founder. They may want to be your first customer. Ideas are nothing without collaboration, and the only way collaboration can happen is if you share those ideas openly, with the goal of continuously building it. So Kenya says, thanks, Regina.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, so I think that's a good place to go ahead and wrap this up. Well, actually, let's do one more. This should be a quick and easy one for you. Eugene asked, would these events be beneficial for someone who's going the corporate route?
Absolutely. So what's interesting about, I guess, the entrepreneur life is that it can go in lots of different directions. As I just mentioned, a lot of people are still working full time, building their startup. So they will need jobs, and they may move from job to job to job. So we kind of dual track opportunities for career advancement and professional development, while also being telling that the stories of entrepreneurs and giving that education. So there's definitely an opportunity to come out and receive professional development from a corporate perspective. The HR team from Diageo was there on in New York on Thursday. Very impressed with the community. As I mentioned, we do have a resume book that we'll be sharing with Diageo. So if that is something of interest, download or upload your resume, where, when you click on interested in job opportunities, click yes, and then it'll give you an opportunity to upload your resume. And we have quite a few partners. We work with Intuit, Bank of America, Diageo, trying to think, Pepsi, Live Nation, Morgan Stanley. There's just quite a few corporate partners that not only support the entrepreneur side, but also bring out their recruiting teams to roadmap to billions. So they're able to kind of get a 2-for-1 with our audience.
Perfect. Great question, Eugene. That also added a ton of value. I knew about the resume book, but it's a great reminder that for everybody registering, make sure to upload your resume, let them know you're interested in job opportunities, and you never know which partner will shoot their shot at you. So you might as well put it out there. So one last time before I let you go, let people know about the event tomorrow. Let people know about the different cities. And then most importantly, let people know about Roadmap to Billions. So this is your outro, and then we're going to shut it down.
All right, folks. Well, thank everyone for coming on out. I look forward to seeing you and connecting with you, if not online, which is tomorrow, January 25th, 6 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. We'll be doing our online pitch practice social next week. HBCUs, come on out. Next Thursday, February 1st, kicking off Black History Month at the Gathering Spot in Washington, D.C. from 6 to 9. We've got HBCU Buzz, we've got Venture for Them, DC Startup Week, Trabaja, all coming out to support and amplify entrepreneurs in food and beverage, hospitality, green tech, clean tech, travel, you name it. We'll be in Houston the following Thursday, so Thursday, February 8th, 6 to 9 p.m. And then we'll wrap up in Chicago on Tuesday, February 20th. And this is our pregame. This is our warm-up. This is our warm-up event series for our annual marquee event, Roadmap to Billions, which is May 16, 17, and 18th in Brooklyn, New York at Brooklyn Navy Yard. So you can go to roadmaptobillions.co to learn more about that conference. When you register for the free Diageo event, you'll also see a link for discounted tickets for Roadmap to Billions. So for those of you that are, registered for that, you'll see a little, there should be at least a little footer at the bottom of the landing page where you can grab the cheapest tickets that we'll offer. Pick those up now. Follow us on Instagram, socials, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So when does that early bird special, for lack of a better term, end for folks that may think they can just like procrastinate and buy the tickets?
Yeah, I feel like it will end when the tour ends. So probably by the end of next month, we'll start to see the prices. They'll start to go to regular price.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And one last time, Roadmap to Billions. Why do people need to be in Brooklyn?
You've got to be in Brooklyn to secure the bag. You've got to get to Brooklyn in May to meet the people and find the resources that you need to truly scale and grow your business. It's critical to connect in person. I think coming out of COVID, events, people were very touch and go, and it's very like, oh, I don't know. But I think in 2024, events and the need to create like in-person, tactile connections, they lend themselves to building trust. They lend themselves to building relationships and building rapport. And so, being in the building, I think is the part that will be very powerful for these entrepreneurs and technologists and professionals and influencers and media. So we're definitely creating a pretty special experience for this 8th annual event.
Yep. And with the attack on DEI, it's super important to take advantage of organizations like Black Women Talk Tech that are going to be filling the void that is being created because there's a lot of opposition towards the things that we built up since, these last couple of years. And it's on us to really keep that momentum going. And we have some amazing resources as a community. So definitely make sure you come out, connect. A lot of big hitters are going to be on those stages. A lot of future billionaires are going to be in the room, and maybe some current ones. So definitely make sure you join us there. But with that being said, thank you, Regina, for dropping all the gems, the information. To everybody, make sure you pull up tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'll be hosting. I'm really excited about it. And then if you are able to make it out to the different cities, come out. If you can't make it to any of the cities, make sure that you make it to Brooklyn. That's going to be the one that you really, really need to be at. You need to be at all of them, but the Brooklyn one is where it's at. So with that being said, Regina, thank you so much for your time. Thanks everybody for joining. And we'll see you very soon. All right. Peace.
Bye.